and welcome to another episode of What's Good Mzansi with me, your host, Jerry Petzer. So obviously one of the main focuses right now is business and how to sustain small business. And joining us today is my good friend, Jason Rinquest from Deep Thought Media. I've had the privilege and the pleasure of working with Jason for around 5 years now, and he's been an intricate part of us actually growing and developing our businesses throughout our entire journey. Jason, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I suppose as good as anybody is right now, stuck at home during the lockdown.
It really is a challenging time, eh?
Yeah, it's a really strange time to be alive, because when would you ever have thought that one day we'd be stuck in our homes, not being able to go anywhere, do anything, restrictions. It almost seems like it's out of a movie, and life is surreal. It almost doesn't feel real yet.
That's right. I keep waiting for lions to start walking through the suburbs, like something out of I Am Legend without the flesh-eating zombies. But it's like something out of an apocalypse.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures doing the rounds on Facebook of golf courses with lions walking across them, and some beautiful photos of springbok and animals coming out into the wild again. So, I suppose some good is coming out of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Jason, listen, your story is quite a cool story because, when you and I met, you were working for a company and you decided to go out on your own. And I remember the days of you sitting there with your little laptop and in your kitchen at a table, and it was just you were going solo, and you managed to sort of build and grow your business. Let's just spend a little bit of time talking about the evolution of Deep Thought Media.
Sure. So I have a long background in advertising and marketing and events. So we originally started out as doing advertising for events and as a graphic design company. And obviously as times changed and people changed from print media to digital, we had to evolve. And one thing that our business is good at is evolving and changing with the times. So we've seen that we've made our journey from analog to digital over the last, I think it's 15 years. As Deep Thought Design, and eventually evolved into Deep Thought Media. And it's been a really exciting journey because the more things have changed and the more technology has become available, it's just really exciting. So it's something that we are very passionate about. So we're always looking for what's new and where the trends are going. And because we've come from a world of print media, where people, going from car to car or business to business, dropping flyers in boxes, which now is completely obsolete. You have companies like the Yellow Pages that still have their place, but up until 10 minutes ago, I was using this book to prop up. So it's a great place to find leads, but if your business isn't online now, you aren't going to be in business for much longer. But so I've gone from a one-man show to a team of 10. You have web designers, Google specialists, graphic design, SEO specialists. Everybody has their parts, and we've got a really good team of people together, and a really good base of clients. And I think we've been very lucky to have such a wide variety of clients that we've built up ways to market for every type of sector and industry that there is.
What would you say is one of the keys to client retention? Like you said, you got you start out with a small business. You don't really have much in the way of resources. You don't have much in the way of properties and like this big business that's recognized nationally. How did you go about actually building and establishing this client base? You've got some very significant clients. How did you go about doing that?
Yeah, so we've been very fortunate where we've built up our entire clientele from word of mouth. Only recently we've started advertising because, as any business, sorry, not advertising recently, but focusing on drafting new clients, because at any business we want to keep growing, and we want to get to each step and take it as we're ready. So now we're ready to grow even bigger. So all our clients have been word of mouth. It's been, we did such a good job for the first client, and they referred us to another client, and so on and so on and so on. And we've been really fortunate to get some really good clients along the way. And the secret really is to treat every business as if it's your own. If you treat every business as if it's your own, then you're going to put every bit of effort into it, every bit of creativity. You're going to go the extra mile and offer that extra service. And that's one thing that every business should be doing, is that they should be focusing on always going the extra mile for their clients.
I mean, I'd imagine that your business, like everybody else's, would have been severely impacted by this COVID lockdown with clients all basically stopping. I mean, just tell us a little bit about the experience that you've had now during this time.
Okay, so that's a good question, because you'd think that a digital marketing company with us working online, we can work from anywhere. I could be sitting in Bali on the beach right now. As long as I have a laptop and the internet, I can do my work. The problem for us is that all our clients are either brick and mortar stores or retail stores or other products, brands, services that might be affected differently to what we are. So even though we're still able to do the work, if our clients can't serve their clients, then there's a disconnect. So what we're trying to spend our time now is being productive as possible to be prepared so that when the lockdown is lifted, it's imperative that businesses start advertising more and more. If you think that it's time to cut back on your advertising, you're making a big mistake. So whether you do it yourself or you get a company to do it for you, you need to be doing something. You know, when you don't know what to do something.
Fantastic. You know, I just you speaking like that, there was a question circulating a number of years ago, and the guy said, why on earth would Coca-Cola, being the leading brand globally, why on earth would Coca-Cola continue to market? What would be the purpose? And I think Coca-Cola understood the principles better than anybody. In order to be the leading brand, you have got to throw money at your advertising and your marketing. It's essential. And when times are tough, a lot of companies will stop marketing and stop advertising, because obviously they're trying to redirect their funds into other more critical areas, which is understandable. But at the same token, if you want to survive, especially during bad times, if you are able to continue your marketing, continue to expose yourself, because the COVID-19, the lockdown will end, and you have got to be a relevant brand at the end of that. You've got to be something that people recognize and they know, and they've seen you during this time. In fact, while you've got everybody sitting at home, while you've got everybody online, it's the best time to capitalize, because now is the time when you're going to be present on mind. Now is the time when they're going to see you most, right?
Yeah, I agree with that completely. It's really important. There are more people sitting online now during the lockdown than ever. So many people are already spending their time on social media. I mean, if I tell you, one statistic on Facebook alone is that 93% of people will still be on Facebook on their mobile devices during primetime TV. So if that was the stats then, imagine what it's like now, where people have not much else to do but go online, look for news, look for updates, and see what's happening. So yeah, it's really important to be working on your business right now. If you aren't able to service your customer, you need to make sure that your business is properly primed for your customers to find you online, and especially when the lockdown is over. And you need to be thinking, you know, one thing is that this lockdown has weaknesses in every business and industry across the board, because we've all found now, okay, well, these are really strange circumstances, but we've figured out now that like for my company, our problem was that, of course, our customers, if they can't service their customers, then they're going to stop their marketing with us. So we need to be prepared next time. Stranger things are happening all the time. So we need to make sure that we can properly service our clients. What can we do to prevent this kind of situation in the future from a business point of view? So if this had to happen again, let's say we come out of lockdown and there's a month or two of business as usual, and then we go back into lockdown again. We've learned nothing. So if there's one thing that we've learned from this, is that there is no such thing as business as usual anymore. Okay? Any business that goes back to business as usual is going to fail. You need to change your strategies, the way you market with people, the way you interact with your clients. Everything that you do needs to change going forward so that you can be properly positioned for anything.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I've got to agree with that sentiment. There is so much shift in terms of communications, and this has been a common thread with every single discussion that I've had of late. You know, it's business unusual. It's going to continue to be business unusual, and any business that's going to try and continue to operate on the same modus operandi as they did is going to find themselves in big trouble. What are some of the areas that you have found in your business now that you have noticed as a potential flaw or a weakness or a threat, and that you're busy working on tweaking?
Okay, so one thing was that we weren't prepared for obviously a lot of our clients turning around and saying, look, we can't service our customers, so we have to put our marketing on pause. So there's no notice period, and you can't as a company turn around and say, well, we want to enforce contracts where we don't care if it's locked, you still need to pay us, we still need to do the work. That would be a terrible thing for any company to do. So we need to make sure that we are better positioned and prepared for this type of thing. Okay. So, you'd even think that there are essential services that are still operating during this time. And I guarantee you, we've got a couple of customers that are essential services and they are also struggling. So because people are living in fear right now, we know what happens if you let people into your home. Do you really, if you want to get a plumber or an electrician or a DSTV guy to put up your dish or whatever, it's like you say, it's not business as usual anymore. It's very unusual because people don't want to make the call to get anybody over. And there's a lot of confusion as to what's actually going on. So the best thing you can do now is you can use this time to audit your business, your online presence, everything, see where your weaknesses are, see what you can do to make things better. One thing is, I cannot stress how important it is for every single business to be online. So I'd also like to make that a big part of this discussion today as to, what can people do to, while they're in lockdown, what can they do to make sure that their business is better positioned and have a better online presence?
Fantastic. I think, a lot of companies, and this is a very interesting space to be in, because a lot of companies have got websites and they don't pay enough attention to the websites. Their websites don't really get any traction. Nobody knows they exist. SEO is not a cheap exercise. It takes a long time to get those things going. But now is the time where you've got to be online. I mean, there's no way around that. You've got to be online. You've got to be present. You've got to be accessible to your clients and to the general public, depending on the nature of your business. How do we go about doing that? How do we go about getting our business and our online strategy to a place where it starts to service our business?
Okay. So first of all, like I said just now, it's very important that every business has an online presence. Okay. So what does it mean when I say every business needs to be online? Okay. So you must have an online presence. Okay. That means you must have a website. Anyone who says you don't need a website, you're going to be out of business soon. Okay. You must be on social media. It doesn't matter if you aren't on social media, your customers are on social media. And you must be found on search engines such as Google. If somebody goes on to search and they need a plumber, electrician, and they type into Google plumber near me, you want to be found. So it's very important that you want to be you need to have some kind of social media presence and online presence. If we look at, when we talk about presence and you want to check if your presence online is strong or not, okay, the first thing you need to do is, if you don't have a website, get one. If you can't afford one, there are other options like Google My Business listings. When you set that up for your business, and we'll get into that just now, every business really needs to have a Google My Business listing. It's free, and they offer you a free website. Even though it is limited, it's free. You can add all your content on there. You want to register your business on Google Maps so that if in your local community somebody goes on and does a search, you will pop up on the map. Okay, so that's point one. Make sure your online presence is strong. Use websites and use social media. So another thing you can do is you want to make sure that you get onto Facebook community groups. So for example, I live in Tableview, and if I was servicing customers only in my surrounding areas, I would want to join every Facebook community group that's in Tableview, Bloemfontein, Millerton, anywhere that surrounds. And I want to start giving advice to people who ask for questions on my service. I want to start telling people how they can do things themselves. If they need help, they can contact you. You can use the groups as a free way of marketing business. You just want to make sure that you don't overdo it. You don't want to spam people. So do it in a helpful way. For me, my golden rule is always be helpful first, be valuable first, and then people will use your services. Okay. You can also use these groups to network and make connections with other businesses that could work symbiotic with your own. You can join your neighborhood groups and you can see what questions people are asking. As long as you know what people's problems are, you're going to be able to know how to come up with a solution to solve it. Okay. You want to use this time to monitor what your competitors are doing. Okay. So online, see what they're doing on social media. If they're on social media and you aren't, that's telling you something. Okay. If you go into Google and you do a search in Google, search for your service or product that you do. If you're not showing up on page one and they are, you need to be there. You've got a problem, So another thing you can do is we obviously have a lot of time on our hands. So you want to spend this time organizing your data. Okay, so that's as a business, you should always be collecting data wherever you can. Just make sure you do it in a legal way. You want to be collecting email addresses, cell phone numbers, names. You get these people to opt in. so that you can legally market to them and use the details to send them advertising. But again, I keep using the word advertising, but you really want to do it in a way that people don't feel like they're being advertised to. People don't read ads. They read interesting content. Sometimes that interesting content is an advert.
Yeah.
So you need to be very clever the way you do things.
Yeah.
Email marketing, it used to be a thing of the past because it would feel like you're getting spammed. Nobody wants to receive an email in their inbox because you almost feel like you didn't allow that person to advertise there. Getting an email from a company whose services you are actually interested in and is providing content that you want to read, those people are going to respond well. Email marketing is still the most successful converting platform. If you look at companies like Takealot, I subscribe to their daily deals, and they get a lot of sales from that from people because they want to see the content, they want to see what the deals are. You should take this time to work on your business strategy. So you need to think of who is your business, what are you doing? This kind of thing might not apply to big corporates, but this conversation really is focused on small, medium business. It's the one-man show. It's the guys that are small teams, local business. The decisions are made by the owner, and the owner deals with people a lot as well. Right? So you want to take a look at your business and you want to do a complete audit. Work on your strategy, and you want to set yourself a clear short-term goal and a long-term goal. What do you want to achieve now? So think of where we are. We're stuck in a lockdown. You're stuck at home. Your staff are at home. They can't work. They want to make sure that they've got jobs to come back to. Start working on your plan. What are you going to do as soon as this lockdown is over? What are you going to do that's different to everybody else? Why should people buy from you and not your competitor? So again, be helpful. You want to really situate yourself or position yourself as the go-to person in your industry. You want to be the king of your category. One way that you can, when you're doing these plans, right, and you want to look at paid media, so paid ads. One thing that we found is very useful is that we'll sit around a table and we'll kind of like create an avatar of what our perfect customer is. So try and think of, you might have a perfect customer or perfect customers, but what you want to do is you want to break these customers into demographics. So for example, my perfect customer is a 30-year-old female, and she uses an iPhone. She has a Mac computer, so she uses Safari browser. She likes to find out things in life, so more expensive goods. She watches Netflix, and I build a profile around her. So now when I go on to social media, so Facebook, and I want to target an ad, I now know that I want to target my adverts to females aged 25 to 35, live in a certain location, uses an iPhone device, and now I can sell her my iPhone covers. So you want to build your demographic around avatars. You might have different customers, but what you can do is you can tailor make your message and your advertising to each demographic. And that's how you're going to win. You want to speak directly to your audience in a way that they want to be spoken to in the place that they want to be found. So that when they see your marketing or your adverts, they don't feel like they're seeing an advert. They're seeing something that's interesting to them because they've already shown an interest in your product or service. And that's why they start seeing your ads. So spend this time creating your perfect customer. Okay. And then you definitely want to explore paid media such as Facebook and Google ads. Like I said, Facebook, you can target by demographic. With Google ads, advertising now during this lockdown, you might find there are less people searching for services, which means costs per clicks are coming down. So if somebody goes onto Google, think of how you search. If you need a service or anything, okay, you need an electrician, the first thing you do is you go into Google and you type electrician Tableview or electrician Johannesburg or anything like that. And Google is going to serve you the most relevant results. So that's the same experience that everybody else is having. And Google's their whole business platform is based around relevance. They want their results to be as relevant as possible so that the consumer or the person searching has the best user experience. Everything is about relevancy. If you read any article, anything that I put out, I use the word relevant millions of times. Okay. And you want to be, which is very important, you want to be valuable, you want to be relevant, and you want to be conscious of what's happening around you. You'll see onto social media or anywhere, any website, you'll see ads now, lockdowns, COVID, and people are trying to offer their customers reasons to buy. I think one of the is also hardest hit by this whole situation is restaurants. And because, they can't open their doors, their staff are sitting at home, and the longer the lockdown carries on, restaurants are really struggling. So there's a great idea, is appeal to your customers to buy vouchers for a meal for when the lockdown is over, And you can apply this to different kinds of things. Sell vouchers. If you're a beauty salon, hair salon, ask people to pay for something up front, give them a discount, everybody wins. I don't know if there's anything you want to add to any of that.
No, listen, I love it. I think that's all very practical advice. And you just touched on vouchers, and we're just about to launch an initiative now, which is going to enable restaurants and any service-related industries, in fact, that are currently dwindling, that are standing still. Enable them to purchase a voucher, which they can use, they can redeem at a later date, and then give it some sort of an incentive, So if a person makes a 200 Rand purchase via a voucher, give them a 10% discount or a 10% add-on, just to build that little bit of a loyalty program. So at least it keeps your lights on, it keeps things turning. And of course, the customer at the end of the day has a voucher. It's not just like a donation. It's actually a practical exchange of services for a later date, which I really love. The other thing Jason touched on, which I think is really, really important, is the fact that the days of hard selling are gone. You cannot go in and be like, I've got the best of the best of the best, buy from me. Because it's all relationship based now. Everything has got to be around, do I trust, do I want to do business with this person? And the way that we can do that, in fact, the best way to do that, and this is why social media is so powerful, because you can, through showing your experiences, build that trust with your audience, I'm not going to tell you that I've got the best product. Let me show you my product in action. Let me show you how our product has changed someone's life. Let us show you how it has benefited a business, for example. And then you start to build a relationship. And this is something that we were dabbling in from the real estate space. Start to show your personality. Start to show that you're a person that can be liked and trusted, and that your brand is a real brand, and your service is a real service, and the product that you offer is a real product. And I think that's so vital. Don't try to sell hard. Sell the sizzle, not the steak. And I think that's key to going on in a business.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I always say, don't sell. Always help, assist, advise, be the go-to person. And one of the things you mentioned now is also important. So one of the big strategies that we've taken on in our business, right, is if you've got any business and you are trying to figure out how to get customers to trust you, because trust is the most important factor, okay? You want people to trust you. They'll choose you over other companies because they trust you. And one of the ways you can do that is by building what we call the delight phase, okay? So some people might be familiar with a sales term, the sales funnel. So just picture this upside down triangle, and then you have a couple of layers, and the first layer would be the awareness stage. Then the second would be the consideration or research phase, and then the third would be the conversion, right? The conversion can be whatever you say a conversion is to you, okay? It could be a sale, could be a phone call, it could be a lead, it could be anything. And then after that, that's not the end. That isn't where the journey ends. It should then be, after that comes the delight phase. So up until, the standard was always the delight phase was afterwards. So, you would delight your customer after the sale. But, most companies spend their budgets on the awareness and consideration phase. So what we're saying is, or what the industry is talking about now, is that what if you spend your budget and your time on the delight phase first? So before the customers bought from you, delight them. Think of ways that you can make them happy, show that you're trustworthy. I've written articles on this stuff, and what we'll do is we'll share a link afterwards. But so the whole point of this is to delight your customer in a way that they want to buy from you. So for example, you have competitions, give stuff away, ask people for their stories. Then you use their stories as information to figure out their problems and be the solution to their problems. So one big thing that we drive is customer reviews. So if you're a business, here's a big question. I want everybody to stop quickly and just focus on this, okay? So the question is, who do your customers trust? Okay. So now, when we ask this, we get all sorts of answers. But because of obviously time constraint, I'm gonna get straight to it. Who do your customers trust? They don't trust your business. They don't trust your product unless maybe they've used it before. They don't trust your brand. If you can't market yourself all the time and say we're the number one this or the number one that, or we are the best, like you say. Okay. People trust other customers before they trust your business. Okay. So that's the answer to the question. They trust other customers. So you want to drive good reviews and good stories about your business and brand. If you make sure that you provide more than, like, you always go above and beyond for your customer, that they leave there with a smile on their face, that you've started with the delight phase, you're ending with the delight phase, that customer is going to walk out and they're going to talk about you. And that is the best form of marketing, is referrals from people who've used your services. So always make sure that you put that the delight phase is a strong part of your marketing.
That's amazing. That's such good advice, Joe. Jason, how do guys get hold of you? I mean, how do they get in touch with you if they want to connect and they want to speak to you a little bit more about some of the challenges that they're facing, or they want to look at different ways that they can market their business and get some advice from you? How do they reach you?
Yeah, sure. So I'd be happy to do that. If anyone wants to drop me a mail and just ask what they can do for their business, so we can give them kind of a light sort of business plan or advice. There's no obligation to use our services. It keeps us on our toes to give advice to other people. And they can email me at hello@deepthoughtmedia.co.za, or just visit our website, www.deepthoughtmedia.co.za, and you can contact us directly from there.
Amazing.
So,
yep.
Yeah, we'd be more than happy to give any kind of advice while we're doing this lockdown, to make sure, we're all in this together. Every business is suffering right now, and every business should be thinking of what they can do to prevent this kind of thing from happening themselves. Get your business online, start to digitize your business, sell your products online. If you can't sell your products online, you've got to be creative. So we're willing to help you try and be creative. There's always something that you can do to get your business out there and to create more goodwill and better perception of your business, because that's what it's all about. It's about building the right perception for your business.
That's amazing, Jay. Listen, thank you so much for your time. It's been very insightful and very helpful. I mean, I know that you've been a big part of helping us get to where we are. So first of all, thank you very much for that, and second of all, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. And you heard it, guys. If you need any help with anything, just pop Jason an email or go onto their website, www.deepthoughtmedia.co.za. And I'm sure the guys will be willing to assist you. We are all in this together, Mzansi. We are stuck together, and we have got to make it work together. Thanks very much, Jay. Take care, my friend.
Cool. Thanks for the chat.
Cheers.